If Travis gets the trivia question right, he'll go first. And if not, I will. Are you ready?
You better believe it.
Okay, I am going to give you 5 names of songs by Alexi Lawless, little known
Excuse me?
recording artist.
Wait,
Yes.
he's a musician?
Alexi Lawless is a musician.
Oh my God. We have to play his songs on here until he sends us
He has
like a
released
copyright
albums.
notice.
He has released multiple albums.
What a fucking
You
dork.
may not
Okay.
know. Before we do the actual trivia question, would you like to just guess the name of one of his albums? I feel like you could guess.
January 6th was right.
And that's it. No, dude.
Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug.
I'm Darren Miller.
And I'm Travis Hellwig.
Welcome to our friendly and thrilling preview of what is now our first game of the MLS season, LAFC versus the Portland Timbers, which takes place this Saturday, March 4th at 1:30 p.m. at BMO Stadium. You can watch it in person on Apple TV Plus or on Fox. And just as a reminder, 10 minutes after the game, we'll be live on our YouTube channel with a post-game call-in show. Click the link in the show notes and join us.
Shout out to Fox, who did one telecast this week but in front of a dirty curtain while everyone else was in a beautiful Apple TV studio. We're finally starting our season this week as the Rose Bowl El Tráfico game we previewed last week got postponed due to rain. And because when they built LA, they forgot to include a working sewer system, all of us almost died. I believe because of a flash flood, the entire Rose Bowl was washed out to sea. Is that right, Darren?
Yeah. But the street a block over from me had like 4 different giant pine trees just fall and crush a bunch of cars in the neighborhood. So that was pretty insane.
Darren, I think I'm tired of this banter that's been requested by our listener mandated banter. Let's get into the show.
All right, let's do it. As I remind myself every week in the mirror, I'm too busy being a devoted husband, father, and fully employed member of the workforce to have time for frivolities like keeping up with every detail about every LAFC game. So I make Travis, the most frivolous person I know, explain to me the storylines for each week's game in a segment we like to call Storylines.
Ooh, I love it more and more each week. These are the storylines for this week's game against the Portland Timbers. Quickly, an important storyline is that this is our first home game in the brand new BMO Stadium, which is the same as the old stadium, but with a new name. They're going to hang the championship banner. They're going to give everyone a free BMO hat. And they're going to arrest me after I make a big deal about them getting rid of soul sausage. I want the fucking fried chicken and French fries, and I'm furious that it's gone.
It's gone?
They got rid of it. Every year they get rid of the food that I like, and it's infuriating. They get rid of free play is going to be open, but I don't know if there's any restaurants in there, or if they're just doing like a little, we'll see. They're giving away 50% food and drinks, 12-1, so that people get there early for the banner drop. So get there early. Maybe I'll see you. But the first real storyline of this game is that this is a rivalry game, Darren. LAFC have a few teams that I think I could consider our rivals. The Galaxy, obviously, we talked about last week, the Seattle Sounders, the Philadelphia Union now, but a team that always gives us a dirty, aggressive, and downright mean game is, of course, the Portland Timbers. That's right, Portland, Oregon, a city so past its prime, the sketch show written about it was canceled 5 years ago. I couldn't believe that. It's like 5 years ago.
That's how long it's been since we said, okay, that was fun. But yeah, it's also enough.
Yeah, it's like making fun of hipsters is like 25 years old now.
Making fun of hipsters is old enough to be a hipster.
We've played some fucking dirty games with Portland. They always kick the shit out of us, and not in the final result. Like, they literally kick us a lot. Whenever we play them, it's very testy. But even more of our rivalry stems from some off the field antics that are really fucked up in a bunch of ways. like when we knocked them out of the US Open Cup and Portland filed a complaint officially trying to get us disqualified for having too many foreign players, or worse, when our old striker who's now at Toronto, Dio, said he was called the N-word by a Portland player, and the Portland organization essentially claimed that Dio made it up. It's just
Oh my
like
God.
a bad organization overall.
That's a thing people make up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an upside to that. Sure.
Last time we played Portland, it was the end of last year. In what was considered Bouanga's breakout game, it's the game that we won. We clinched the Supporters' Shield, and we all but knocked them out of the playoffs 2 games before the end of the season. So they want some revenge against us. We hate their guts. I think their organization is terrible. Since Portland entered the league, they've roundly been considered a powerhouse team. They won the MLS Cup in 2015. They had 2 finals appearances since then. But Portland is coming off an off year. And our second storyline is Portland prime for a bounce back season after last year's clusterfuck? And that clusterfuck, in true Portland fashion, wasn't just about what was on the field. There was some insane front office drama that is almost as fucked up as the Dio stuff, Darren. And I don't know why I'm getting really deep into some like nasty stuff to start, but
I love this kind of
think,
stuff. Let's do it.
Like, this is what I think the MLS is missing, is the fans don't know how corrupt and evil these fucking organizations are. So we got to talk about it.
I feel like that's all people talk about in like European soccer leagues. It's like, that's maybe why it kind of seems inaccessible sometimes to people in America, is like you get caught up in a conversation with 2 super fans of European leagues and they're talking about like really detailed shit, like business stuff.
What human rights violations their Saudi owners have done.
Sure. But that applies to all teams in all sports, so it's okay.
That's true. I actually feel like it'll be a big step forward for the MLS when Qatar buys a team. So there was some insane front office drama last year that isn't funny, but is important to the storyline. So there was this massive scandal in the Portland front office surrounding their management and their sister team in the women's league, the NWSL, the Portland Thorns. They're owned by the same people. So there were allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct, which led to a damning report by U.S. Soccer alleging that the Timbers owner, the Timbers president, and the former Timbers GM were all involved in either sexual misconduct or involved in covering up sexual misconduct against former players on the Thorns by the Thorns coach from a few years prior. Like literally every high-level member of the organization either committed misconduct, committed abuse, or covered it up. It is like in any other sport would be the biggest news in the country.
That's insane. Okay.
So we have to beat them. The GM and president were fired, but Merritt Paulson remains the owner of both the Thorns and the Timbers. The entire thing is obviously fucked up and led to a massive amount of distractions off the field, which a lot of people think probably led to the lack of focus on the roster building. There was not a lot of focus in the front office on trying to make Portland good last year. And so a team which is normally a powerhouse, like almost made the play. They always make the playoffs and they failed to do it last season. And now the Portland roster doesn't feel as competitive as they did when we entered the league. And the team that they have continues to get older. That's especially obvious when you look at their captain and man who likes to kick Carlos Vela in the shins, Diego Chara, the 36-year-old Colombian midfielder. He's one of the best midfielders in the history of the MLS, but he's just not as good as he used to be. He's 36. That's older than me. And I can't tell you how much physical pain I'm in at all times.
Yeah, that's a no-go. I just turned 36. How long's it been? Almost a full month now. And I really am on my deathbed, to be clear.
It is wild how quickly that happens. You're just like, one day you're like, I could play pickup soccer. And the next day you're like, I woke up in the middle of the night to pee and I couldn't walk straight.
Yeah, I would play pickup soccer, but I'm not interested in a near-death experience today.
We had a message from somebody that first week that said we laugh too much. And every time I laugh at your joke, I can't help but think about that guy. And it is so upsetting. This is like, I did a live stream when I worked at Crooked Media for Pod Save America, where I guess my jeans were too tight at that point. And I like one comment said that I had unflattering jeans on. And I think about it every single time I put on any pair of jeans. I think about that one comment 4 years ago. It's insane what comments on the internet can do to you.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm very thankful to that man. He sent us a very nice message, but I am going to think about it forever.
and that was the purpose. And it was so that you think about it,
Their team's getting older. Diego Chara is 36. He's their captain. He's really good at kicking us in the shins. Their goal scoring by forwards was lacking a lot last year. Of the 50 goals they scored all season, only 12 were scored by the front line. It's weird. It was all by midfielders and defenders. On Monday night in their 1-0 home win against Kansas City, their only goal was scored by Mosquera, who is a right back. Like, their front line is not doing what a front line is supposed to do. But they're hoping that their front line woes are solved by their brand new star, a Brazilian striker who goes by the name of Evander. Evander is 24. He's super smart. He scored 50 goals and had 38 assists in 4 years in the Danish league. He's great for a young guy coming into his prime. He didn't do much last week on Monday, but he definitely, I think, is going to be a goal scorer this season. If not, Portland is not putting the right talent around him. They signed another forward earlier this week, but the top comment on the Portland Reddit about that player was, quote, "I am whelmed." So I don't think we need to discuss them.
Cool.
All this is to say that
the tip.
Yeah, I always, when like I'm not sure what to do, I look at that exact team's Reddit and see their response, and I feel like it's good to interpret how good a player is based on a fan base. All of this is to say that even though they won, they didn't look all that convincingly good in their match against Sporting Kansas City, which brings us to the final story of this week's match, which is we are playing this aging Portland team on short rest, which should put us at an advantage. They have a full game under their belt, sure, and we still haven't played 90 minutes with our starting squad, but we should be able to beat this Portland team as constructed. That said, it's very possible, because we still are in the preseason and we haven't played a full 90, that our team hasn't gelled even with that extra week of preseason. So it's this weird thing where they're playing on short rest Monday to Saturday, and we're playing having never played before. So it's like both teams are in a weird disadvantage.
That's like what could have happened to them last week.
Yeah, exactly.
To excuse what happened to them. I did catch some of that game and caught the goal. It was it went right through the goalie's legs. He nutmegged him.
It was very like this, but like Kansas City, I think, was kind of dominating the game in every other way. They just happened to not be able to win.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of. I don't know what to make of Kansas City from that game, or what
I don't want to think about Kansas City. Like, it's not that's something about MLS is like there's just certain teams that I don't want to think about, and Kansas City is one of them. No offense to Alex Abnos.
Our friend Alex Abnos, we put the time in, We spent the first episode of the podcast thinking about Kansas City, and we hit our quota.
What's funny is we had that whole conversation about Kansas City in that episode, and I fully cut it out. It's not in the audio version of the podcast.
Maybe someday we'll release a deleted scene that is all of us discussing Kansas City like a bunch of idiots.
For a Patreon-only podcast where we talk about Kansas City.
Join our Patreon. You'll get access to small talk about the hometown of our guests.
If you thought the content of this podcast wasn't intelligent enough yet, wait till you hear us talk about cities, talk about the weather. Okay, I got it.
Rain.
For all the shit I say about not wanting to banter, I've been doing a whole lot of it today. So, we still have a couple of questions about our team because we haven't played yet, which is honestly infuriating. It sucked watching all the other teams play last week.
Oh man, that did suck. Everyone was like, "Oh, it was a good weekend for MLS." Fuck that. I was so frustrated.
It felt like,
why am I not watching LAFC right now?
It really did. I felt like we weren't picked for the pickup game. I'm like trying to get excited about what I'm watching. The Apple TV stuff was cool. I mean, we could get into that a little bit, but I thought they did a good job. It is weird that they're standing and not behind.
There's like 3 setups. One of them is Mystery Science Theater 3000, and I'm a little weirded out by that.
Yeah, that Mystery Science one is the weirdest one. The wraparound thing is like what people are mad about the commercials, which yes, that's infuriating. But like the thing that I don't like is they like don't really cut into the games. You're constantly seeing the people watch the games. It's like, why would I ever want to watch that?
Yeah, they're just discussing the show. I was thinking it would be more like Red Zone, and it's more like some other channel doing some kind of broadcast where they don't have the rights to the games, so they're just discussing it.
Yeah, it's
But they
not
do have
Red
the rights
Zone.
to the games.
It's a UCB show where they're watching a movie and making fun of what's happening. Okay, quickly. There's still a lot of questions about our team since we haven't played at all this year.
Right.
Word is that our center mid, Ilie Sanchez, was injured in preseason. It's not clear how injured he was. People thought he might not play against the Galaxy. I don't know what his injury is, but he was an all-star, and in a lot of ways, he was the glue that made our team function last year. And if he can't play, our already not great depth midfield, we're going to have to rely on someone untested, probably Tillman. And, it will immediately highlight our lack of depth, especially with Champions League coming next week. That's something that I am very concerned about if we don't have Sanchez. And like I said last week, we still do not know what our front line will look like. Does Opoku start as striker? Does Michael Stipe Buick start?
It's
Does
going to
Vela
catch
get... Wow, everyone's calling him
Travis.
Michael Stipe. People can't stop calling him Michael Stipe, the lead singer of
REM.
REM.
Lots of people are saying.
What's the crossover between people who are fans of LAFC and people who would like a joke about Michael Stipe?
You're looking at us.
Wow, there's really a big audience for this podcast. It's me, you, and like one person on a text thread with us. Does Vela get slotted into a false nine, which after last episode, many people tried to reach out to me and explain what a false nine was. And I just want to be honest. I don't want to learn. It's fine. I don't want to know everything. I'm very curious how our coach, Steve Cherundolo, handles our subs this game, because coming up, we have 5 games in 15 days with the Champions League and MLS, all back to back. We lack depth, like we've talked about every episode so far. So I'm really curious how we manage the minutes and who starts when and in which game. And of course, the big question we have to find out is who will be our first Falconer of the season. Is it Justin Bieber, who became a super fan after MLS Cup final? Is it Carl Jacob? Is it Hunter Biden? We'll know soon. Those are our storylines for Saturday, Darren.
And what about which Falcon will it be?
Oh, it's got to be Ollie for the first one, unless something's wrong.
I would hope so. Yeah.
If it's not Ollie.
What's our depth like in the Falcon department?
There was one named Fig for a while, but they haven't brought Fig back. If Ollie doesn't show up, we got to boycott the team until they bring Ollie back.
Okay, let's do that.
When we come back, we're going to draft our top goal scorers.
And we're back. In our season preview episode, we talked about some of the biggest questions surrounding the squad this year. If you haven't listened, go check it out. We'll wait. We're done waiting. Perhaps the biggest of those questions was, given the loss of Chicho Arango, where the fuck are all the goals coming from? Well, it was Anton Chekhov who said, the role of the artist is to ask questions, not answer them. But we're not artists, we're idiots, so we're going to answer that question in the dumbest way possible in a game we're calling Islanders Get Drafting. Travis, tell me that's a Love Island pun, I guess?
Yes, I wrote that without you seeing. It's not, and now hearing it, I actually don't think anyone says it's Islanders Get Grafting says, but I don't even think that's it's not my best work, Darren. Keep going.
We're going to say this again. Islanders Get Drafting. Is it better the second time?
No, please keep going.
Still not going to. Will Travis continue to eat shit if I say it a third time? Sorry. All right, let's talk about the game. It's pretty simple. Travis and I will take turns drafting 4 LAFC players to our squad. Whoever's team of 4 has the most total goals at the end of the season wins 1 free bacon-wrapped hot dog outside the stadium. We'll keep a tally throughout the season so we can trash talk with each other accordingly. But there's one twist. Oh, wait, I know the twist. We must live in the same hard truth in this draft that we and everyone all over the world must find a way to accept every day, and that is that Dennis Bouanga is off the market. Oh my God. If Travis gets the trivia question right, he'll go first, and if not, I will. Are you ready?
You better believe it.
Okay, I am going to give you 5 names of songs by Alexi Lawless. Little-known recording artist.
Wait, he's a musician?
Alexi Lawless is a musician.
Oh my God, we have to play his songs on here until he sends us
like a
copyright notice.
He has released multiple albums.
What a fucking dork.
You may not know. Before we do the actual trivia question, would you like to just guess the name of one of his albums? I feel like you could guess.
January 6th was right.
And that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 5 songs that are on his Spotify, 5 of his top songs, and you have to guess which one is the most listened to song.
Okay, this
And
is
if you
great.
get it right,
Do I get one guess? Just
you go
one
first.
guess.
Yeah, should make it more fair? Maybe I should give you 2 songs.
Okay, yeah. I get 2 guesses.
Okay.
We'll say that.
Okay. This is so good. Red, White, and Denim. Crash. Just stole the Dave Matthews Band song. Or maybe it's a cover. I don't know. I'm not going to listen to it. If I Should Fall Behind, Tougher Than the Rest, and Calling Everybody. Now that I'm thinking about it, these might all be covers. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's too obvious. So the denim jerseys were the jerseys he was known for. So those 94. So I feel like red, white, and denim has to be number 1. Is that it?
It's not.
Fuck. What about Calling Everybody?
You just chose the least listened to songs of the 5.
What's number 1?
Number 1 is Tougher Than the Rest.
Bullshit. I could kick his ass. Okay, let's get into it. We're taking too long. Go first.
My first pick is not Dennis Bowonga. I'm going to pick...
Come on, there's a consensus number 1 pick. Why are you being coy about this?
Okay, I'll pick Vela.
Yeah. I mean, like, it has to be, right? I mean, there's
I was
nothing...
thinking, like, what would be interesting? But yeah, I'll pick Vela.
We're playing for a bacon wrap hot dog, man. Let's not fuck around.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so now I think after the consensus one, it does get interesting.
It does.
I think there's a risky pick, but I'm going to go with what I think is the most sensible first one for my draft board. He's listed number 2 behind Vela, and that's Mahala Opoku.
That's a good pick. That's a
All
good
right,
pick.
my top 2 are off the board.
Okay, I'm going to pick Hollingshead.
Fuck, I had him at 3. Okay, all right. Yeah, and want to talk about it?
Best mustache in the MLS? No, I think he might have shaved the mustache.
He better not have.
I don't know. We're not sure.
Well,
that's all that matters to me. We're doing it based on mustache alone, right? No,
he was one of the best defensive goal scorers in the league. Like, he's good at scoring goals.
I mean, it's not all set pieces either. Like, he just finds his way into situations. It's great.
Yeah, I like Ryan Hollingshead a lot. Okay, my second pick, now that you stole mine, is the Michael Stipe of the MLS, Stipe Buick. I am a little bit worried about his minutes. However, with so many games and so much rotation, I think he's going to find his way. So I have both Mahala Opoku and Stipe Buick.
Okay. Cifuentes.
Yeah, I think you got to do Sifu. I mean, Sifu's probably would have been a safer pick for me than Stipe, now that I'm thinking about it. Although,
do you want to do a trade?
He might leave in the summer. So he might fuck you by the end of the summer.
Oh, that soon?
Yeah, they think they're going to ship him out in the summer.
Well, that is a risky pick I just made, huh?
Okay, well, that leaves me the man who's next to Carlos Vela on all set pieces, Kellen Acosta, who scored in the MLS finals for my third pick. I love Kellen. One time I DM'd him to ask him to be on my wine show, and he said yes. And I didn't follow up because I was too nervous.
All right. Maybe he'll agree to be on this show and also not be on it.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't listen first.
Have I picked 4? Am I done?
No, you got one more.
Really? I picked first, didn't I?
Yeah, you picked Vela, Hollingshead, and Sifu.
Oh, you're right. Okay. I will pick who's left? Murillo?
Yeah, not bad.
I guess I'll pick Murillo.
He's pretty tall. He likes to head the ball.
It's him or Ilya in my mind. I'm going to pick Murillo.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take it back once you say the name.
You can have him. It's okay.
So you say your team. So your team is say them all out?
Vela, Hollingshead, Sifu, and Murillo.
Great. Okay. I mean, I think Vela's carrying you a lot. I think I have a little bit more. Yeah. Yours is a riskier thing. I think my 3 picks so far, Opoku, Buick, I can't fucking do it, and Acosta are a little bit more consistent. Yeah. So I think that allows me to take a risk on my final pick, which I'm going to
Maxime
get
Kripo.
So much shit for this. Lionel Messi. My fourth
Oh my
pick
God.
is that we signed Messi. We scooped Messi from Inter Miami, and he joins our team, and he scores 30 goals at the end of the season. I mean, the smart money would be like Griezmann or some other big European one if I wanted to be stupid, but no, I'm saying we get Lionel Messi, and he's on my board.
Yeah, this is as stupid as it gets within the world of being stupid.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, an MLS team's tied to him, and wouldn't you rather come here than Fort Lauderdale?
That's what it sounds like when you're drowning in the swamp of Fort Lauderdale.
Those are our picks. We'll figure it out over the course of the season.
Let's see what happens. What a great long shot. There's also a world where you win with 3 of them.
I feel confident in my 3. I mean, I don't think Vela's going to go wild, so I feel confident
it's true.
enough.
Vela's
to
a big name. I think as soon as I got Vela, I was like, oh, I can be risky now. I was like, I can just kind of do whatever.
He'll still score a bunch. I'm not worried. But, Messi's going to score a little bit more.
Yeah, Messi's going to score a lot more. I think the main question is for what team, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't clarify the goals have to be for LAFC. When we come back, let's make some bets.
And we're back. Now, finally, it's time for a segment called Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
Every week, Travis and I are going to end the show with a bet for this week's game. We'll make an outlandish prediction for that week, something that almost definitely will not happen, but could. Each week, we'll both put up $5, and if nobody hits, the money rolls over to the next week. Eventually, by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they'll win a good chunk of change. Last week, there was no game, and neither of our bets happened, so that still rolls over. It didn't happen, so we both lose again. What were my bet last week was that it would be a 0-0 game.
I mean,
I was close.
You're very close.
That was so close.
You've come closest to hitting so far. And my bet was that Kellen Acosta punches a fan in the face, which could have happened. We just didn't see it if it did. I have a prediction this week that I feel confident in. And it's one that, $20 are on the line now that
we got to get serious.
Made it this far. Oh, actually $30. It was $20 last week. It's $30 this week. The prediction I'm very confident in, Darren, is that there will be some sort of Air Force flyover at the game, and one of the planes will have to make an emergency landing. I don't know. It doesn't mean someone's going to get hurt, but that there will be one of the planes, something is going to go a little wrong. They're going to have to fly to Ontario or that weird private airport in Burbank. One of the planes is going to have some trouble.
Watch what you say about the weird airport in Burbank. That's my house. 3 planes flying over here, ruining the audio of this show as we do it. That's a good one, man. If one goes down, there's a plane flying over right now. I wonder if you can hear it. If one goes down, it could be completely no problem at all. Everyone lands safely. It could be very tragic. In either case, pretty good for Travis.
I mean, what I did not say a plane would crash. I said they make an emergency landing.
I said it goes down.
Yeah. If a plane crashes and someone dies, does my bet hit?
Yes, absolutely. That's half the point of this, is that something crazy happens and you feel weird about the money you won.
Great. What's your prediction, Darren?
My prediction is that I got to go wide with it because it's pretty wild. Well, not wild, but some player, coach, or staff member on the sidelines, on the field, but on the sidelines, at some point in the game will be ejected for drinking an alcoholic drink during the game.
Do they grab it from a fan? It doesn't matter. At some point, they're caught with
alcohol.
At some point,
someone will catch them and be like, what are you doing? You can't do that. You got to go. I mean,
it's going to be Giorgio Chiellini.
Yes. Yeah. He's going to have an Aperol spritz at some point. He's
going to have some Amaro, some aperitif that he got at Capri Club, and he's going to enjoy it.
Which I think everyone at that point would agree, the rules are the rules. I mean, we all agree you should be able to do this. This is important for culture. I also don't even know. It's possible that that's not really necessarily against any rules, depending on who it is. I don't know.
I wonder. It's got to be. It's got to be like a conduct thing. But, well, we both have our predictions. We shall
what
see.
happens.
That's our show.
That is our show for this week. Before we go, we want to remind you that we'll be live streaming post-game about 10 minutes after the game on Saturday on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@HappyFootSadFoot. There's a link in the show notes. Click the link. Talk to us in the chat. If you want to call in to talk, we'll post a link to join us in our remote studio, and you can hang out with us and be on the show.
I'm excited to call in walking from the stadium to my car. Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Valentine, Nate Walcott, and Louis Palmer. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, which we now have full episodes up on YouTube. And if you enjoyed this show and you have friends that are curious about getting into the club, you're on your way to the game, and you want to teach them all they need to know about the game this week, please have them listen to the show. It really means a lot. We're doing this all on our own time, our own dime. So any new listeners will really go a long way. Thanks again for listening, and see you at BMO. I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.